What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, as well as a sleeping Luca on the floor here, strategically positioned to make things difficult. And we're returning to Dubstar's 2001 album Make It Better. As always, thank you to Phil, as well as to Mark for commenting on pretty much every video. And the next track is Rise to the Top, which is a phrase used, I think, figuratively for the most part, but it does, of course, relate to the chemical or physical character of particular things, meaning one thinks of pouring an ale or some type of beverage where the foam, rises to the top, but of course it also relates to the idea of becoming superior or standing out relative to others. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was some sort of visual reference, but of course meaning that is more metaphorical. So you wake up and then you just go there. Okay. And yes, ultimately, I wouldn't be surprised if it functions on multiple levels, but I'll see what I can catch on a first listen. This is Dubstar. The track is Rise to the Top, and it's from their 2001 album Make It Better. A shorter one. I'll say that to me is the least typical Dubstar song I've heard, in that it was very edgy. Obviously the guitar is intense, and that breakbeat, the percussion hits very powerfully. It sounded like if you mixed a Prodigy tune with a Dubstar song. So like her vocals felt more or less like what I've come to expect, but yeah, the sonic atmosphere was edgier and more like late 90s alternative than a lot of their material. But yeah, okay, so and ultimately there was a guitar flourish right before it rolled over one more time, and I wonder if that was like a guitar with an ebow, because it reminded me a bit of like big country guitar just for a brief moment. That was like a small section of the tune, but I did wonder that. But yeah, so it's very like pointy and edgy and a bit metallic sounding, and maybe that relates to the spiky assessment that she's giving, though I'm not quite sure, because she's saying essentially the way you're going is just going to get worse, and also like you try to like drink your way through all your friends or like past all your friends or something. So like maybe there's a like, alcoholism, which, maybe like the rising to the top as it relates to like a visual with like a glass of alcohol is maybe apropos or like, deliberate. But there's also like, you're turning dreams into reality or something like that, but that could of course be dark. Like your dreams could be more like, self-destructive or indulgent and, related to addictive behavior and so on. But yeah, so like I don't really know what's happening, but it seems like the assessment of this other person and their behavior is pretty withering and pessimistic as to what is going to take place if this path is continually followed. But I don't quite know how the narrator may relate to this person. It could just be someone in their personal orbit. It obviously could be a significant other or a friend who's saying, giving hard truths, telling them what they should be hating, but it sounds like they're not. Either way, I enjoy her vocals. I enjoy those like, snare flourishes. It really did have like a late 90s, early 2000s breakbeat type of sound in terms of the percussive rhythm and intensity, but with a like alternative edgy guitar line. So yeah, a crazy one that again is a bit outside what I've come to know from them, though it feels like this album has done that in some different ways and is maybe them, sort of finding some different lanes or, trying some different things, being a bit more like outside their normal mean or median, if you will. But yeah, ultimately curious to hear what Mark and Phil have to say, as well as any others of you. Let me know, and I will see you for the next one. Peace.